What's up? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. I am Ray Orsini, and today I'm flying solo on this episode of MSP Community Live as we go through every Sunday and we discuss some of the topics of the MSP community. And I already see our good friends Jason Slagle and Glenn Holcomb in the chat. Thanks for joining us, guys. I appreciate you. My usual co-host Matt Toppers at Exchange right now in Nashville, I believe. He's going to be doing a speaking. He's going to be doing a session there. What's up, John? Nice to see you this happy Sunday. Appreciate you coming on. So as we do, I think it's only episode 7. We have definitely been making this stuff up as we go. So today's not going to be any different. Looking at RMSP, and if you have any articles you want to discuss, throw them in the chat, and we'll see what we can discuss. But let's see what we find. Figure there's a nice way to start as any. So looking here, I'm going to go ahead out of respect for Matt Topper. I'm going to go ahead and skip the best or worst RMM you've ever used and why, because there's only so many RMM discussions you can possibly have. I like this one though. I like this employee monitoring. Which one can just give stats and alerts without sharing screenshots with us? We have a requirement from a client for employee monitoring, but the twist is that they do not want access to screenshots. They're happy if the tool tells them, oh, this employee was watching Netflix, but not really share these screenshots. Most importantly, they want this done at the contractual level so they can indemnify against privacy claims. Any recommendations? It's not about disabling screenshots. The idea is that the client doesn't want access to screenshots. This is something that comes up pretty often, having to do employee monitoring. And it usually starts the conversation of, is this right? And if you have to monitor, you probably shouldn't be monitoring anyway. Definitely love to see what you guys tell your clients, because we're all entitled to our opinions, but I'll be the first to say, I'm not the one that's going to tell the client, you have to do this, you can't do this, for the most part-ish, kind of. But we have Zorus. I've never used Zorus. I've used Active Track. That was SpectreSoft, Spectre 360 before that. They do have very rough cancellation fees and stuff like that. And it seems to me that's the runaway recommendation. Tons and tons of Active Track. There's one called Manic Time. Never heard of that one, but always nice to have something new. But nothing really out of the ordinary here. Nothing Spooner would have been very excited to see or very surprised to see. Let's see what else we have here. We have the ERC tax credit. The subs rule is we don't cover any tax or legal questions, so we'll go ahead and skip that. There was one here about selling or buying. Let's see here. Sell or partner with a larger MSP. There we go. Small MSP here, have about 800 endpoints. Smallest clients are 5 users. Largest is 100. Been profitable since 07. Started out as break fix since the early 2000s. But all the clients are under contract and have things all standardized billing stack processes. Things run well. We have a ton of project work and outside MRR, but looking to partner with another larger MSP. There's only 2 of us, and I want to try and recreate the wheel. I don't want to try to recreate the wheel and hire more technicians, sales, support staff, etc. Our clients are a mix of every industry, so on and so forth. He wants to scale. He doesn't. He wants to do that quickly. He doesn't want to scale organically. First response, I don't know if you're the right potential target for a larger MSP. Maybe they don't want a client that's as profitable or as efficient as you. That's an interesting point. Clients out of Chicago. So if any of you guys want to purchase anything, let me know. We'll be selling an MSP out of Chicago. And then we have others saying that because they're profitable, maybe it'll be easier to sell. I don't know. It's you guys tell me. What do you think this is going to be? Are you easier to sell if you're more profitable? Or are you harder to sell? I know Dean would have an opinion on this, but it'd be very cool to see what everybody else thinks. I'm getting out of Facebook, I'm getting it's easier to sell if you're not profitable. A lot of clients, a lot of money right now is offering, a lot of people offering money to fix efficiency problems. Okay. Eh, interesting take. Let's see here. The usual Kaseya posts. We're not going to get into those. Um, let's see what new QBO terms of service. They keep raising prices and changing their terms of service. So let's see what they had to say. Anybody seen the new QS terms of service or QuickBooks Online terms of service? They plan to use employee data and market directly to employees from the login splash screen today. Your team's data and like timesheet and location will be used to develop and improve Intuit products. We may reach out to your team to get product feedback. We may make certain features and offers directly available to your team. Now we'll be paying them to market directly to our employees. I mean, not sure how much this really matters. Personally, they're going to market to whoever they can get eyeballs, right? So if you log in, you're an eyeball, you're a set of eyeballs. I'm not sure it really matters. Um, John, responding to the previous question, wonder how selling is like for a solo MSP. Feel like my clients will be upset and want to go with a company I sell to, and not want to go to the company I'll sell to. I don't know, John. To me, I mean, I was a big attractor for our clients. Obviously, I had relationships with them before we handed them off. It wasn't even as we grew, the clients knew exactly who I was. Obviously, we're not a solo MSP, but it was a very similar relationship. It wasn't as hard as I would have thought it would have been. The clients didn't push back as hard. Obviously, that's communication, being able to tell them, handing you off so you can get the best support, the best blah, blah. This is somebody I've already vetted for you. That goes a long way. Um, but, just communication like anything else. All right, let's see. So I don't know. I don't know if this QuickBooks thing is all that important. From the number of votes, apparently our MSP doesn't feel so either. Shout out to Huntress. Best way to get extended support for 2012 R2. I think this is the one that said just upgrade it. Yeah, no, not so much. Let's see here. 300 license limit. Yeah, I agree with you. QuickBooks Online or any product that your clients use, you can just, if they log in directly, you can pretty much count on them being sold to. That's just, I mean, but at the end of the day, they're also not the ones that are buying it, so it really doesn't matter. What do you do if you have over 300 small business users? Just keep buying licenses. This is interesting. A reflection of mental health and trauma that MSP work can do. I'll put that in the chat too. And this is I'm a 29-year-old male, been working on computers and very technically, mechanically inclined as long as I can remember. I started doing IT work when I was 18, quickly got into the MSP game. This will be 11 years doing IT, of which 9 have been with various MSPs up and down the West Coast. In short, um, I feel I grew into the adult I am while immersed in the industry. What's up, dude? How you doing?
What's going on?
No worries, no worries. No, we're good. We're going through the usual topics on RMSP. Uh, but how was your past week, man?
Uh, Busy. It's pretty good. I mean, we're accomplishing a lot of things, and we're for MSP Geek itself, and for regular work, it's just been it's just busy.
Are we there yet? Are we ready for 24? MSP GeekCon 24?
No, we're not ready by a long shot. We're making baby steps to that, though.
Baby steps.
Yeah.
All right, so we I worked a little bit to find a non RMM post. we have a reflection on mental health and the trauma MSP work can do, is what we're going through here. 29-year-old male, basically been in IT since he was 18, and he's been in this for 11 years. A bit over a year ago, he left MSP, which was the most senior. He was the most senior tech in his area, handling large projects. When the shit hit the fan, he was the one getting called. And over the last year, he's been able to redirect his energy away from work survival and towards himself and his relationship with his wife. That's nice. How does all this matter? Plain as can be, due to the high speed turn and burn nature of MSP work, I developed a lot of bad habits and stress, tended to default to disabling my emotional processes and faced with challenges. I'm not going to read the whole thing. You get the gist of this. You're in the proverbial shit still. What do you say to this? I mean, we get this is not a unique thing. These
No.
mental health posts.
So this is one of the reasons why we wanted to have a specific mental health conversation at MSP GeekCon 23, is because it's not just MSPs, but MSP you see it the most because and Mindy and I did a Geekcast this week, and we discussed this part on it. Is MSPs are basically like a war. It is nothing but high octane turning and burning, closing tickets constantly. There's no slow downtime compared to a regular corporate IT job, right? Where it's just so slow, so monotonous, and it's just you got to wait for there's red tape around everything. In the MSP world, it's just like, did you close that ticket yet? Why not? And that is the primarily overarching push. And
does it have to be that way though? Does it have to be where it's just all about the closing the tickets?
It's I say yes sarcastically, because a correctly set up, properly built MSP who's operationally mature, the answer is no. You can put time into tickets, you can put time into your service, you can do all of that. But most of the MSPs I've talked to, I've seen, I've interacted with, that's not the case. It's they're not operationally mature enough to tell clients no, to give them distance, to push back, to understand that their clients who are paying, yes, still don't get pushed. Like you don't want to push your employees away because a client's paying, right? That employee is just as valuable as a client.
Jason kind of brings up exactly what I was going to say. It doesn't really have to be that way. And I was going to go on top of that and say, this isn't an MSP problem. This is a service industry problem. And just like in any service industry, there's bad employers and good employers. I mean, this isn't MSP. Any service industry, you're going to find these exact same complaints. True,
but I wouldn't necessarily say bad employer, good employer, because there's good employer who have bad practices. Like it's, their heart's in the right place, but they make the wrong decision, or they don't have the maturity in their business sense to understand the ramifications of the decision they're making, right? The ripple effect, right? You put a drop into your business's water, and what ripples is going to cause down the line, right? But most of the MSPs are set up as, like the target effective hourly rate, spend less time on the client, solve the tickets faster, right? We make more money. Like that is the overall premise of the managed services in a lot of industries, in the services industries. And it's difficult to get into that, and it's difficult to get out of that.
I don't know. I to me, it's the whole, what is the goal, right? If the goal is just close as many tickets as possible, you're going to have a problem. With us, the goal is not close as many tickets as possible. It's only close this many tickets every hour.
But I don't even push for that metric. Personally, I don't push for a ticket closure metric. I don't care. Personally, there's other people's in the business. So I look at customer surveys and time on tickets. Right? There's always a limit to how long you should work on a ticket. Right? Theoretically, there's going to be asterisks on everything, but when you're working a password reset, as long as you're following proper protocols and procedures, that should take roughly 15 minutes. right? If there is an
Are the same
absolutely
techs doing the password resets also doing the hardware tickets?
no,
Okay. That's the
uh,
catch, right?
but even if you did, they should be able to turn them out quicker than a regular
Right,
tech
but
that's
it's
doing
harder to
them.
monitor when you have the same staff doing both types of tickets, right?
Correct, much harder. But you also get it when you have that, you get into the weeds of, well, employee A is closing 80 tickets a week, employee B is closing 10. Okay, well, employee B is dealing with server downs and rebuilding SQL servers and stuff.
Right.
Like, you can't compare to that. That's just unfair to both technicians, right? Both of them are doing an adequate job. Both of them are solving the problems in their warehouse, but that's not fair. You can't say, well, employee B is bad because he's only closed 10 tickets a week, right? And that's why it's a really bad metric to begin with, in my opinion.
So yes, if you're letting him go uncapped, right? So my thing is we have an expectation of number of ticket closures, but it's a ceiling as much as it is a floor. What we focus on more is how much time they spend on a ticket.
Yeah.
You know, and they have hard caps with us and that kind of stuff.
I use it as an indicator.
Yeah.
If my quick fix technician is closing 2 tickets today, something's wrong, right?
Yeah.
Like, maybe he got stuck doing some complicated tickets. I don't know. Maybe I had to go home early. Like, there's like, it's an indicator of like, this is a red flag. Let's dive in to figure out why it's this way. But I don't use it as something to base on. We don't. Excuse me. We as the MSP don't do it. Try not to do it. It happens. But.
So there's a post here that Slagle was going to ask if we're going to cover it.
I don't know about this one yet, so
that's right, because you don't
we actually have one client who's on Rocket Cyber.
Hold on, we get Jason the invite if he wants to join up. Whatchamacallit. So it's not so much the Rocket Cyber experiences, and these posts kind of drive me nuts a little bit. I get the posts will be inundated with Kaseya hate, but we're mostly a Kaseya shop. I'm looking for recent experiences with Rocket Cyber. And that's all well and good. And, people posted their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it devolved into the Black Point is better. And I moved to that and I've whatever, tons of that stuff. But there's opinions. But then our good friend Andrew at Huntress was one of the first ones to reply. And he had posted links to other people because sometimes these questions come up a lot. You've seen this. People jump into Geek all the time and ask a question that has been asked. And you have bots for this, right? Like that's kind of the,
for most of them, yeah.
Yeah. So, he gave some things of, people links to posts where people were not all that happy. And as you can imagine, Kaseya came in and gave him their opinion, admonishment for one vendor coming in and their words bashing another.
I don't think Andrew actually bashed anyone. He just said these are the community's takes.
Well, and so that's kind of the point. I don't care about the bashing. I my personal opinion, he didn't bash, but oops, that's the wrong one. My personal opinion, he didn't bash. He just linked to whatchamacallit. He just linked to other threads, other responses, and that's fine. But what I really want to talk about, though, is are vendors entitled to an opinion?
Yes.
Because, and as we bring Mr. Slagle on.
Oh, God, him?
I wanted to talk about the other thing. This is the spicy one. I wanted to talk about the burnout thing.
We'll talk about the burnout thing. We'll go back to it. But
I'm late to this one because I don't get on Reddit a lot more since they killed my app.
Yeah.
So the question at hand is not, and to be fair, all three of us have done a lot of stuff with Huntress.
Yeah.
We all use Huntress. There's an inherent bias there, which is also why I'm specifically not arguing, should Andrew have said anything or not. I don't care about that. I don't think anything, as a moderator, I don't think anything was done wrong on that thread. So I'm letting it stand. But from the community side, Andrew has been around the MSP space for a very long time, right? He was with OpenDNS. He was with Cisco. He's at Huntress now. He knows the players. He has a lot of inside baseball. He absolutely has opinions. Where's the line where you're speaking on behalf of a vendor, or do you have to start shutting up because you wear a vendor logo? Wait, can you see mine? Wait, no, you can't see mine.
I'm wearing my own vendor logo.
Oh, see, you can't take an opinion then.
And no hat, which is very unusual for you.
That's because I had a haircut recently. So now I just do this and go on camera.
But okay, but it's the same thing, right? Jason, you do a lot of stuff with vendors, and sometimes you got to walk a line. Kyle, you run a vendor agnostic community like I do, and Lord knows we have to walk the line on fairness. But all the vendors have their opinions, so
It's not vendors who have their opinions. Andrew has his opinion. It's not vendor as Hunt. It's not Andrew as Huntress. It's Andrew who just happens to work at Huntress, who was helping out the community because he cares about the community so much. That's like, that's like you making a post and saying, doing the same thing, right? Or any Kaseya comes in is like, this is the, here's our competitor. Here's links of most recent conversation threads about that. Like, that's not. Since there's no actual person who identified themselves in this thread, except for Andrew from the opposite, from Kaseya, like, we don't know who that is. We don't know who their social manager team is. That could be any one of a number of nameless faces. Andrew is here representing himself as Huntress, but he's also representing himself as Andrew. And at a company like Huntress, from what I understand, and I am happy to be proven wrong, but Huntress is okay with you representing yourself as well as the company, right? They have lines and limits as if any vendor, any company who you work for does, right?
Yes.
There's always that ceiling, but
we've found the line a couple times.
He still can go in and make social media posts and not care that someone may be like, that was in poor taste, Andrew. Don't do that. Can we be like, but that's the limit I would expect from someone at Huntress based on my working with them and understanding with them. Any other companies with the reputation of like a Kaseya, or maybe even potentially a ConnectWise, or any other of the big companies out there that exist, that might be less likely to happen. Like, and as no one signed that post or saying, like, isn't there a Kaseya Katie?
Yeah.
And she didn't post, right? Now, if she done that, I feel like she would have gotten in trouble for that if she'd have been posted what Andrew done, right? But I'd have said the same thing if she'd have posted it. She didn't outright said that this is a trash product, right? I think Andrew just said they weren't a security company, which they're not. They're not. Yeah. They have security products, but their focus isn't security. Their focus is MSP.
And so that was very much a reply to that was after the Kaseya post. Go ahead, Jason.
I mean, so to me, he summarized, and I said it in one of the comments down below, like, the only spot you could argue at all, maybe he crossed the line a little bit, was the last two sentences, right? Everything above that is just links to other articles. But I would argue that at this point, they aren't a security company and they need to, maybe they're trying to become one, but purchasing 18 products that deliver security does not a security company make you. I mean, see other examples in our industry. They are not security first. And I don't know, I go back and forth. When I got involved with it, I wasn't arguing the merits of what Andrew had done. I had argued the hypocrisy of Kaseya calling out that they don't do that when they literally from the stage of DattoCon last year said no one should buy Avik and it was a terrible product, even though Avik had paid them $90,000 to be there. So they definitely engage in that behavior.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be bashing and brigading around. These are my vendors of choice, right?
Oh, of course.
I am on team this color. It's all in the PC industry, right? I'm team red, I'm team green, I'm team blue. It's just.
Meanwhile, I'm wearing a Ninja shirt and don't even use Ninja. I mean, I guess I do now because I bought Tom, but.
Yeah. I mean, it is. I don't see a problem with what this is. Now, if he'd have come back and said, if whoever did Kaseya Datto removed the first paragraph, right? 2 paragraphs. No one cares about how much they invest, right?
Right.
Huntress invests all of their money into security because they're a security company. I mean,
Yep.
just because you have 10 times more the dollars doesn't make you more effective at it, right?
I don't know. They've invested a good amount in bourbon.
I mean, that's called social engineering, Jason.
Yeah. Let's not knock the stuff that's good, okay?
Yeah.
So, but I mean, even that, like, if they'd have just refuted the stuff, like, that'd have been exactly what was needed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Attacking someone personally because they posted stuff about that you didn't feel was warranted. Welcome to the internet. I mean,
yeah, I don't agree with you. So, you know,
I mean, yeah, the actuality is they don't spend time trashing other vendors' products on the sub because they will get downvoted to eternity.
Yeah.
It's a very community is very free with giving away pitchforks to their audiences.
I have a whole box of them back there. Rocks are over there, pitchforks are over there.
We started branding ours so that we know what community we're fostering when there's a hammer, right?
Pitchforks.
I mean, and you do something perceived. I mean, it's happening now. There's Linus Tech Tips for anyone familiar with the colossalness that's happening over there. They had some, and it just started with one thing. Someone made someone made
more than one thing. It was
it started off. It started off with one comment about how they're going to be better than other tech reviewers, and other tech reviewers were like, "That's kind of in bad taste." And then it just spiraled out from there. That's what caused Linus Tech Tips that was the beginning. Someone made a really bad comment, and then that starts the drama. And now there's 3 things happening, and someone's coming out with toxic work environment play, which is entirely possible. I don't know. I'm just reading. I'm just a consumer to this drama.
It's toxic on the videos. I don't know how you can go to it.
So wait, there's other things that
I'm aware. I've been following the drama.
It's very interesting I like to consume drama, not be a part of it.
Yeah.
It's like a TV show. It's all over the news. CBS, Canada.
Yeah. And then they
wrote an article.
They monetized the apology video and then unmonetized it after, and then they shout out LTT store in the apology video, and people lost their minds over that.
Well, look, I
oops.
So just to give a little bit of context, because I kind of understand why they were trying to do it. The problem is the workplace harassment and other stuff, toxic environment and other stuff dropped literally like 4 hours before that YouTube video dropped. Mm-hmm. So now you had a whole new storm of just drama that has nothing to do with their production. And this video drops, and there's a lot of tongue-in-cheek stuff that shouldn't have been in there. Let's be honest.
No space in there.
1 or 2 jokes. I understand. I can see maybe at the end, after you've said all your piece and you've kind of moved it from this is serious, we're focusing on this, to more lightheartedness, and then make a joke. But the whole video is like filled with Linus Tech Tips
inside
jokes, which is sponsored. Segues to sponsors.
The thing that got me though was it seemed mostly heartfelt until Linus comes on. And then when he comes on, you can tell he's like being forced to read something he doesn't.
He doesn't believe in because he said it. I'm pretty sure he went off script because he feels he's the victim in this.
Yep.
And that's a problem because he's not a victim.
Yeah, correct. And the rest of the video is basically people shitting on Linus, and then Linus comes in and said, "Everyone's being mean to me."
Well, yeah, because he said it.
You messed up.
Look,
everyone messes up.
Work group for vendors that have been yelled at by Slagle.
There is I'm pretty sure there's like a Slack support group that's just you get an honorary invite when you get blasted by Slagle.
Just admit you'd messed up and move on.
That's my opinion.
I don't get that.
Then he doubled down. Just
and then
doubling down.
We read the room wrong. No, you didn't. You screwed up. I mean,
but that goes back to the Kaseya thing with Rocket Cyber. don't sit there and say all of my partners, love the product when every single post there is about choosing something else.
Yeah, I think there's a too big to fail element of this, honestly. Like this, at some point or another, these organizations, either via vendor, media organization, whatever, they get big enough that they think that there's no possible way they can mess up bad enough to actually cause long-term damage. I think the Linus is in the find out part of that curve right now, because if you look at the float plane subs, they are dropping like a rock.
They $4,000, 4,000 subs at minimum $5 a pop. You do the math. That's a $300,000-$400,000 a year gone.
Yeah,
but does it matter? I mean, look how many times there's been Kaseya backlash,
but it's a different backlash, right? There's not like this is a different situation, because Kaseya, if I'm a Kaseya partner, I'm in a contract. I can't just leave, right?
Yeah.
And if I can plan to leave, but they're going to sign, they have a sales organization, they're going to sign more people.
So right? I'll use the Chris Rock Bud Light thing, and I don't want to get into politics. None of us want to talk politics, but but the point, what I bring up though, is 4 months ago, Kid Rock goes on this whole tirade against Bud Light. Bud Light absolutely took a $40 million hit over the last 4 months, but he was just shown drinking Bud Light like this past weekend. So my point is this:
it's all about money,
right?
He only bandwagoned is because that he could sell more music or whatever. I mean, I understand it. Like, I don't agree with it, but I understand why he jumped on that.
Yeah, there's going to be a near-term hit. Yeah, sure, okay, fine. But in the long term, does it really matter?
There is a line where it does. Like, I don't agree with the point of view of Chick-fil-A, but man, that chicken is really tasty. But there is a line where the chicken is not tasty enough to justify actions, and that line exists for everybody. And so you play Price is Right games, you get as close to the line as you can without going over. But when you get over, it's bad. And I think Linus movie stepped over it a little bit.
I don't know, man. Look at the chick, Rachel Zuckerberg, whatever the hell her name is, Snow White. I mean, there's absolute media backlash right now with her.
Yeah, I saw it, but I didn't read into that.
You know what I mean? Like, again, not talking the politics. I don't give a shit about the politics. I'm saying, at the end of the day, Disney will make a movie, even if it tanks. It tanks. Okay, fine. Yeah. In the long term,
Mermaid didn't tank.
It'll still be okay. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it didn't tank. Yeah.
You know, Barbie passed The Matrix, or Barbie passed Nolan's Dark
Everything.
Knight.
Yeah.
I don't think it beat Avatar yet.
I think it's the highest. I thought it was the highest grossing.
Already.
I see I love talking about the Barbie movie because it started in such a weird place. Like, the whole premise of the movie was going to be completely different. Like, Amy Schumer was going to do it, and it was going to be this empowering dichotomy of what a Barbie should be, right? Barbie comes in all shapes and sizes, be your own Barbie type situation.
Yeah.
And the internet shat on that.
Yep.
As they tend to do. And so they dropped all of that and then went with this. Don't get me, I haven't seen it. I'd like to see it. I don't see anything wrong with Barbie whatsoever, but I
just haven't been in the theater in a minute. I'll watch it when it comes out.
Oppenheimer.
Yeah, that's the one I would probably go to the theater for.
I want to take my kid wants to see it.
We tried to an IMAX. It's only like 10 minutes of footage that make it worth seeing in an IMAX, but those 10 minutes really make it worth seeing.
Well, it's not just driving to an IMAX; it's paying for the IMAX.
Oh, it's like $15.50 a ticket. I mean, versus $9.50, it was worth $6 more a ticket.
Okay, that's the question. Because that's my scale when I go to a movie theater. Would I pay them? Would I pay and come back to see the? Did I enjoy spending the money I did, which is like $80 now?
Okay, but like certain things you go do, and it's just like, even if it sucks, it's worth the event.
Sometimes, yeah, for sure. There's horrible movies that I would pay to watch in theater. Ready Player One is the only movie I've ever walked out of. To let that sink in. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it had nothing to do with the book.
It pissed me off so much.
Though it was a good movie.
Yeah.
But not for those who read the book.
Watched all of it.
Oh, I get that.
Yeah.
But you're alienating half your audience. You're alienating half. Hi.
What's up, buddy?
you're alienating half your audience because you decide to go a completely different direction with the entire movie. Like there's very little premise.
But that happens all the time. That happens with episode 9. That happened with the Serenity movie.
Those are books.
You and I are going to fight. All right. So
episode 9's not a book.
No. So what I'm going to say is like Serenity. So when Josh Whedon finally got the green light to make the movie after Firefly, he struggled with the whole, do I attract new people and I tell a new story, or do I honor the old ones and then risk not getting new eyeballs, which is the whole point to keep this thing going.
But you can do both. Look at
very hard to do.
I'm not saying it's easy, but you have Harry Potter, you have Lord of the Rings.
Harry Potter's tanked. So what was the Wicked Beast or Mysterious Beast?
Those aren't
Dumbledore
books,
stories.
Those aren't. But the Dumbledore stories, I think, is a screenplay thing. But the actual book the movie's based on the book, did justice to, and it was people who didn't read the books thoroughly enjoyed the movies.
Okay, well, Game of Thrones. How do you do justice when you already jumped the books?
They did a decent job up until the last
Walking Dead.
I mean, they
well, he didn't have the book for the last season, and that's where it went off the rails for what it's worth.
Yeah, and that's the type of situation. Like the book is good.
Do you have to follow the book to make a movie that's based on the book? I don't think you do. I think
you don't.
It has to be done. Like, I agree, but there's the whole reason of the.
What an interesting tangent,
right?
Right. It's the book itself is so good that like I listened to the audiobook about Will Wheaton.
So did I.
And he did such a good job telling it, such a good job going over it, and then I go sit in the movie, and the very first gate that they have to solve for
is completely different,
and it's the stupidest riddle.
And it didn't have to be. There was no reason it needed to be different. I'm going to
spoil this a little bit, just a little bit.
I haven't seen Ready Player One by now.
You shouldn't. Don't give them any money. It's like Aragon. They did my boy wrong, Aragon too. But so in the book, Ray, it's got a nice little detailed understanding of getting through the first gate. You have a challenge, you have to solve it, you go through it, right? Everyone's been trying to solve this. It's already set in the movie as well. Everyone's been trying to solve this for years since the guy died, right? In the movie, you're introduced to this race, which has nothing to do with the book, right? So I'm already like, what the hell is this? And as I'm watching, the way to solve it, now this has been happening for years. People have been trying to solve this first puzzle for years. He drives backwards, and that's what solves the puzzle. Tell me that none of those people and the thousands of years, it's not really, but in game time it is, would not drive backwards, right? That'd be like the first hour someone would be like, let me drive backwards.
Okay, but until fire was created, you're going to tell me there were thousands of people that hit two rocks together? No.
Well, I mean, but like at what point did you decide that instead of like showing people playing Joust, that instead you'd go, what movie made a lot of money? Oh, Wreck-It Ralph. We'll just put a race scene in this and make it drive backwards, right? It's like it doesn't.
It's more interesting action-wise.
Well, you can take playing Joust and put them as a jousting, like throw them into the fantasy scene and have them joust.
Don't get me wrong. Hitchhiker's Guide. I'm absolutely all about the books. I get it. I completely get it. But I think there's a place for a new story. Look, Batman. Batman's been redone 14 million times, drastically changing the story in the comic books and in the movies. That's
fine. And they can live on their own because they've established that.
Yes, nice.
But once you've taken, like you're taking a book that was beloved by hundreds of thousands, millions of people, right? There's a cult around this book. That's what got the movie made. And now you've taken this idea, you've put Steven Spielberg, who is an amazing director, right? And then you don't use any of the book.
Yeah.
You
can say the same thing about Star Wars. You can say the same thing about Star Trek.
Those aren't books, though.
No, I think the books came after for those.
I'm not saying about the books. I'm saying there's original works by the original creators, and they've been extended upon by other people.
Extended, but they're not building the whole world from scratch. That's what they're introducing to you in the movie. This world they're establishing to you, And now and I'm, as someone who read the book, I'm now familiar with the story, right? I have an advantage on everyone. I don't mind them throwing in things here and there and little Easter eggs and maybe a different section here, but the entire premise and how everything was introduced was different. It wasn't just like they didn't do homage to the books, but built new ideas. They just trashed everything. The Witcher is like Henry Cavill was super deep into that. He did all the stuff, in the books. He wanted to be true to the story material, and it was great, right? People latched onto that. Those who read the books loved it. Those who didn't read the books loved it. And now that they replaced him, it's garbage because they didn't want to follow the books anymore. And that goes back to what I'm trying to demonstrate with this beautiful world that Ernest Cline put together, and then just they ruined it. Steven ruined it. Ruined my boy. And now there's a second book that I'm never going to get the movie made because the first one didn't do good because they trashed it.
I just want them to create Thundercats. That's all I'm saying.
Is it going to be like the movie Cats? Are they going to have the butthole edition and the non-butthole edition?
No. Let's not go there. Speaking of, while we're talking books, we should probably bring up that Bits and Books, our newest show on MSP Media Network, will be on this channel on August 25th at 12 p.m.
Thursday, right? Thursday, that's coming up Thursday at noon.
150 pages to read by Thursday. I'll get
the first 150 pages of Getting Naked by Patrick Lencioni.
To prepare those, it is a consultant's book, and it's really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It passed along a really good information.
Yeah, I heard it's a fable too, which is my favorite kind of that type of book.
It is. It's definitely a fable with some actionable things you can do, and it's quite nice.
So be sure to sign up, and this is going to be one of those things where you can join the Zoom with us and actually talk in person as opposed to just in the chat. So it'll be fun. So be sure to sign up.
Yep.
So any other, as we close out the hour, any other topics you guys want to bring up and discuss?
Well, we never went back to burnout.
All right. So Jason's dying to talk burnout. Let's talk burnout.
Are we talking about like the 70s hippie burnout, or
no? We're talking about the stuff you were talking about earlier. The mental health problems that MSPs face. So I think that a large problem is that the really, really, really operationally and mature or small MSPs, they're trying to do too much with too few staff. Mm-hmm. And I mean, we've been there. We're presently there, right? And
I would argue most of them are there.
Yeah, you run at burnout levels, and then what happens is you drive somebody to quit because the burnout is so high, and then that just compounds it for everybody else. Now you're having trouble training your replacement because everyone's so busy. And then I've seen this happen in corporate too, like where like literally it resulted in the entire team quitting because they just couldn't handle the stress that just with every lost team member, the stress for everyone else gets worse because they have to absorb
it's 8 hours
of the work.
Productivity gone. At minimum.
I mean, as an MSP, the way you watch that, you really need to keep an eye on your service salary ratios, right? When they start going too low, that's a problem too. Like, it's like, I'm making a lot of money right now. This is great. Yeah, well, it may not be great forever, right? Like, to take some of that money and invest it in hiring up or leveling up staff, right? To try to stop that from happening.
I've been trying to build a bullpen for our MSP and starting to throw together a, because starting at, I would like everyone in our company who starts on the help desk to run most of to do at least one week as they're leveling up their abilities and getting familiar with the company, run intake for a week, run quick fix for a week, level 1 on a team, and then whatever their role is, right? Stop at their role as they go up. Help build a little appreciation for those who are in those jobs as well as those who stop at one of those spots. They can start learning, adapting and building out more. So you may have extra staff in your quick fix team, but when one of your higher level techs goes, you have someone who you basically built, who's maybe not be level 1 yet, but you could put them in there pretty easily, right? That helps your staff be happier because you do internal promotions. That shows everyone that you can move up if there's a spot open, right? There's a ton of just morale that builds that helps relieve that stress, because someone may leave to pursue other opportunities, right?
Yep.
We're a world. People talk to people. Sometimes someone's going to hire. A recruiter approached one of our solutions architects to work at Amazon. We can't compete with Amazon.
Oh no,
there's nothing I could do to
can't
save
compete
him.
with any corporate, honestly. Amazon or any other corporate, you probably can't compete with.
He was gone, and that hurt. He was a great guy. Shout out to you if you're watching this. But he's a great guy, and he's a very talented individual, and that hurt to lose him. But we had other places we can move into his spot. We can train up that ability. We can evolve the department however we want to take that path, but we have a bullpen worth of staff. And I think that's a critical thing to try to get done, especially in this day and age. It's going to cost you $50,000, $60,000 a year additionally. Yes. But that's going to help you when there's times when someone's sick, someone's on vacation, right? It allows you to better prepare for yourselves. And you should absolutely, as a business owner, do it.
Yeah, part of the problem is the work is like linear or is like a straight line. It goes up and over time as you sell, but hiring is like a stair step, right? Yep. So like you're basically trying to best fit that curve, and there's always going to be times where you're above that curve as far as availability goes, and there's going to be times when you're below that curve. And I think the trick is, from my perspective, is pull that hiring just before the point where it tips back over to the under, so that, you've still got at least enough capacity left to train that person before you're absolutely underwater. And it's hard to do. It's hard to time that correctly.
I would kind of almost argue you always be overhired.
Yeah.
As I've matured in this area, in this arena of MSPs, I found out that no one does anything that needs to be done. Not out of purpose. Like, when's the last time you went through client A and documented them fully and verified how the documentation works?
Right?
100%. When have you gone through and checked your security rules for your clients to make sure? Like, there's just maintenance work that needs to be done that's not getting done in the timely manner that it needs to.
I'm well aware.
Or any manner that it needs to. And over hiring helps you solve that problem.
It does. But it's a scale problem, right? Like when you're your size, right? Or I mean, to a certain extent, when you're my size, you can afford to do that. When you're a sub $1 million a year MSP, that 50 or 60 K, it really hurts. Yeah.
But there are things you can do. You can hire part-time. You can hire interns, right? Yeah. You can pay an intern a very cheap salary, hourly, part-time, to come in, who's in college, just to get some work experience, and they can do basic things like documenting, helping out with the password resets. Like, there's certain things you can do to an extent. Like, there's always going to be an asterisk for it. This can't happen if, right? There's always going to be that situation.
I mean, Ray, you hire a lot of like interns and college level people, and it takes, my counter argument to that is, it takes a lot of work and time to build that program to the point where it doesn't require as much time from your resource to manage that person as you're getting from that resource. Like, we're just now there.
We had to train the trainer. That's basically what it was. Nowadays we don't. Unfortunately, we got very lax on that after COVID started, because we weren't all in the office. When we were in the office, it was much easier. But yeah, we had a very solid, structured onboarding process for the interns, so we could make use of them. But that, you have to have like anything else. If you have a process, it goes a lot easier. Still takes a lot of work, but it's not. But you can get up and running faster with the right structure.
Yeah, the guy in chat is
very relevant.
That's the exact. It's fair. That's a fair problem.
We poach clients from single person MSPs all the time using that exact argument, right? That is the argument. If somebody's using a single man shop, is what happens when they go on vacation? What happens if they get by a bus? What happens if they get sick? What happens if their family gets sick? And I mean, I just don't know how to defend it. I don't know how you would defend against that as a single man shop.
Unless you have like a service that you utilize on the back end or something. That'd be the only way. Because you can't defend yourself from not being
find another one-man MSP in town and partner with them and say, you know what, merge. We're going to take care of each other. Not even merge, just make an agreement to take care of each other's clients if you have a problem, right? Like, we did that with the one we ended up buying in the end. is that we were his backstop when he was on vacation or sick or whatever, and then in the end we ended up acquiring him. But that's how he was fighting against that, is that he had us that he could call in also when stuff got too hard, which it happens.
It's a smart plan.
I
Even
mean,
got
for
him
what it's
self-sold.
worth, that's not a one-man MSP thing either. We're definitely not a one-man shop at all, and we just hired a consulting company to work with us. You do that as the needs arise. That's just that's part of life.
We're using consultants right now, like business coaches and consultants, right?
Yeah, I don't take vacations. Then we're going to be reading your burnout posts.
So basically, you're the poster child of the entire mental health conversation.
Yeah. Man, I don't know that I'm cut out for the entrepreneurial life.
But that's
it sucks sometimes. Yeah.
I mean,
knowing that you're not cut out for it is actually really good.
I'm specific. Like, I couldn't go out on my own and do it. Like, I know I don't have that ability. Now, I could probably partner with someone or join a small business and do that. But on my own, I don't think I have. I don't have that drive.
It's not for everybody. I mean, the mental health thing is a big deal.
That's one thing. Like, I got a family. As much as I say that I don't want my kids or my wife, I do like them sometimes. I would like to spend some time with them and go do things with them. Right.
But
I'm only here for so long.
It doesn't matter. I mean, so once you get to a certain scaling size, I don't find that I spend probably less time with my family than I did when I was working corporate. Sometimes I do spend less, right? But it's a matter of basically hiring the right people to empower yourself to not spend 68 hours a week every week when doing this stuff. The big thing is that gets me after a while is realizing that, like, I have 25 employees now. 25 employees depend on me not screwing this up.
Yep. This is a good question, actually. I don't think anyone's new business. How you get new business clients? Jason, how do you get new business? What happens?
So I was going to point out, Jason said the word poach. It's not poaching.
It's not poaching.
We go out and sell.
He didn't poach.
Selling.
That's not.
He said he takes clients. That's his method to sell.
For what it's worth, I've never taken a client that's under contract with anyone else. So, because I don't want those clients, because if they're willing to leave the existing provider, they're willing to bail on a contract with me later.
Sure.
But I definitely upsell clients that are single user MSPs, and we are doing what I will say is that while we're not doing everything, and I'll never say that we're doing everything I think we should be doing for clients, because we can always be doing more.
Mm-hmm.
We are doing more than 80 to 90% of other MSPs out there.
Knowing that you have a problem and working to solve that problem, like, I'm not doing everything perfect for my clients, doesn't mean that the other side of the business has to stop functioning. We're going to continue to sell because I want to hire more staff so that I can do everything right by the clients and let go maybe some of the ones that aren't working well for us, right? I'm always working to do the right thing for all of our clients. Sometimes life happens, sometimes business happens. They can't do it at the moment. I can't do it at the moment. We got to align everything because we are two separate businesses. But at least knowing that I know I'm not doing everything right and working towards getting as much of that done as possible is a maturity level you need to have as an MSP. There are some MSPs who absolutely do not care what they do for their clients. They just want them to sign. And that's any business world that we're in. Sorry, but that exists. I don't advocate for those people.
The other side of it is we actually turn down more clients than we take because, like, there is an operational maturity that's required to deal with somebody that's relatively security focused, because
it's expensive.
It's expensive, and it can be a pain in the butt, right? Like, people hate security things when they cost them productivity or whatever, and so we definitely have some smaller clients. There are smaller MSPs also that we do refer to. If you're not operationally at a spot to do business with us, we'll try to find you somewhere. But if you are a company that requires that operational maturity and your one-man shop isn't providing that for you, I'm going to take that every day of the week.
Yeah. I mean, if one of my clients came to you and said they're not doing what they want, I would absolutely expect you to take them. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
I mean, if one of your
Whether-
clients came to me and said that, I would back channel to you and go, "Hey, fucker, what are you?" Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna swear on these things. What are you doing? Like, go
It's
fix this
fair.
client.
But that's a different. We have
know.
a deep
know.
friendship and relationship that we've
I know.
built for years. While I recommend you do that with all the MSPs in your area, just because it solves for headaches such as this, but you can. You're not going to have that relationship with all the MSPs.
For sure you're not.
People are going to leave. People are going to come, and if you stay salty about people leaving you because you can't support them, then you're not going to make it long term.
Nope.
People are going to come and go. No, that's fine.
That's fine.
It's a great question.
It is a great question, and I'm not upset by it at all.
Yeah.
Right? It's sometimes I word things in ways that aren't intended. Right? I probably came off a little stronger than I intended to.
Clarification and context is important, especially if you miss it. Like, it goes back to the Linus thing.
Whatever.
It's got to be straight.
Jason just created our Linus moment.
We did. I mean, me with my.
I'd like to issue an apology for the community live stream.
But first, the message from our sponsor.
End stream, because it's time.
Actually, before I say anything, what do we got coming up here? We got today's community live. We got wins and losses with Slagle and myself on Tuesday, AI Roundup on Wednesday, and Tech Bar on Thursday with Mr. Kelvin
Clevin again.
Kalar. Yeah, it's that time of the year. And then Bits and Books on Thursday and MSP Dispatch on Friday and Tuesday. What about you guys? What do you guys got going on?
I might do another surprise geek cast with Mindy at a random day of the week, Wednesday. Decide on Wednesday. Let me be clear. We decided an hour before we were going to do it.
I like that I just gave 6 podcasts all scheduled out. And you're like, yeah, we're going to do something off the cuff.
Maybe. I said maybe. It's entirely possible I forget about it and he forgets about it. But
any idea what it'll be on, or
probably Wednesday at 8:00.
No,
6:00
topic.
Oh,
whatever problem Mendy's having, it's a problem he's trying to work through.
I picked the last one.
Okay.
I decided to choose migrating business critical applications, and we had a nice hour-and-a-half long discussion about that.
Nice. Well, monitor MSP Geek Discord or Slack. The announcements will come out there on the Geekcast channel, I hope. Yes?
Yeah, we did. We said
at least
here,
20 minutes before it starts.
At least.
At least.
Aside from that, we might be MSP GeekCon stuff might start leaking out. I don't know. It depends. I'm just mentioning it so it stays in the minds of everybody because I will be on contract for selling rooms and tickets. So
next May for sure.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. And Slagle, any clouds you're yelling out this week?
I have a couple that are brewing in the background.
I
mean, I got the really good one that I'm trying to figure out how to handle. And then, I mean, I've got the wins and losses thing, which is always super fun.
Yep.
And then I don't know what's next. I don't really have a lot of travel coming up. I don't think I have anything before GurCon. No, I do. I have a ConnectWise users group meeting, but my travel schedule is as light as it's been all year right now, which is wonderful.
You going to Connect?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm going to Connect. I don't know if my talk's accepted yet. I saw the hotel sold out, and I'm really bummed out about that because I didn't want to. I actually asked for a room in my talk.
I did too. That's the only way I'll be able to probably get travel permission from my MSP to go and get the time off is if I'm speaking. I did submit a nice talk. If ConnectWise is listening, it's a great talk. You should pick it. It's about training your middle managers in your MSP.
I agree. Yeah, fantastic talk. Now, keep calling because I had to book. I'm booked now for Evolve, and then I have 2 of the dates. I have like the 9th and 10th. So I have Says calling every day to get extra days.
I mean, I did ask for a room in my speaker thing, so
hopefully they have some in their block.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. There's no rooms because they have them all.
Right. All right. So with that, at minimum, you'll see all of us at ITNC. Go vote for Kyle's talk to be accepted.
Is that a thing? You can vote? If so, yes, please.
I don't know.
Let's just do a writing campaign. Everyone email.
Please don't.
Page.
No, please don't. Not on my behalf. I don't need that.
Put it in the show notes. Page's email address.
That's good. Anything that is auto added to the spam filter, and now anything I try to ask for help, and they're like, "No, your first name is just kicked out of any Kyle's banned from emailing."
I believe Jason's on a few lists like that too. So
probably.
All right. Well, until next time, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you, Jason. Thanks for jumping on last minute. Also, very awesome. And until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.